Faraz had been hunting rabbits when he heard the crying. Not the sound of any animal he knew, but something that made his 12-year-old heart clench with unexpected sympathy. He pushed through the dense undergrowth of the Pakistani forest, his worn sandals catching on roots until he found her. She was small, perhaps his age, with skin that seemed to shimmer like pearl under moonlight. But it was the wings that made him freeze, great fractured things of silver and gold that dragged in the dirt behind her. They were clearly broken, twisted at angles that made Faraz wince. Blood that glowed faintly blue seeped from wounds along her back. "Please," she whispered in a language he shouldn't have understood but somehow did. "Please don't hurt me." Faraz had grown up in a village where strangers were rare and trust was earned slowly. But he saw only terror in her wide violet eyes. He saw himself, small and helpless, the way he'd felt when his father died and left him to care for his mother alone. "I won't hurt you," he said softly, kneeling down. "My name is Faraz. What's yours?" "Bella," she breathed, and then she fainted. What followed were weeks of secrecy. Faraz brought her to the abandoned shepherd's hut at the edge of his family's land. He stole bandages from the village clinic, brought food from his own meager portions, and cleaned her wounds with water from the stream. His mother noticed his absences but said nothing, trusting her son as she always had. Bella healed slowly. Her wings, she explained in halting Urdu that improved daily, would never fly again. She was a scout from the Celestial Armada, a fleet of beings who had traveled the stars for millennia. Her ship had been attacked by raiders and she'd crashed on this backwater planet called Earth. "They'll never find me," she said one evening, her voice hollow. The distress beacon was destroyed. "I'm stranded here forever." Faraz sat beside her, his thin shoulders straightening with determination. "Then you'll stay with us. You'll be my sister," and she was. Over the months, Bella's alien features faded, camouflaged by some biological adaptation Faraz didn't understand. Her wings folded tight against her back, hidden beneath loose clothing. Her skin lost its shimmer, and her eyes turned a more earthly brown. Only Faraz and his mother knew the truth. Bella learned to be human. She learned to cook chapati, to haggle at the market, to laugh at Faraz's terrible jokes. She learned Urdu, then English, then 3 more languages from books Faraz borrowed from the village school. She was brilliant in a way that made Faraz proud and humbled in equal measure. Years passed. Faraz grew into a man, tall and lean with the quiet strength of someone who'd carried responsibilities too young. Bella grew alongside him, her adopted humanity so complete that even Faraz sometimes forgot she was anything else. She became a teacher in the village school, beloved by children who never knew she'd once crossed galaxies. They never spoke of her people. It hurt too much. Then came the morning when the sky split open. Faraz was in the fields when the first ship appeared, a vessel so massive it blocked out the sun, hanging in the atmosphere like a second moon. Then another appeared, and another, dozens of them, hundreds, each bearing the silver and gold insignia that Bella had once worn on her uniform. The Celestial Armada had arrived. The world erupted in panic. Governments scrambled. Military forces mobilized. The alien fleet made no hostile moves, but neither did they communicate. They simply waited, their presence a question mark hanging over humanity's head. Bella stood in Faraz's doorway that evening, tears streaming down her face. She looked exactly as she had 20 years ago in the forest, small, afraid, and heartbroken. "They came," she whispered. "After all this time they came." Faraz took her hands. "Why now?" "I don't know. But Faraz." She looked up at him, and for the first time in 2 decades her eyes flashed violet. "I have to go to them. I have to explain." "Explain what?" "That I want to stay. That Earth is my home now. That humanity showed me more kindness than my own fleet did when they abandoned me." The transport beam came at dawn, materializing in the village square, and causing elderly women to faint and children to point in wonder. Bella walked toward it, and Faraz walked beside her. "You don't have to come," she said. "Yes, I do. You're my sister." They materialized on the flagship, surrounded by beings of impossible beauty and cold military precision. The Admiral approached, a towering figure with wings that made Bella's broken ones seem like faded memories. "Scout Bella," the Admiral said. "We thought you lost. We've searched for 20 years. "I was lost," Bella replied, her voice steady. "And I was found. By him." She gestured to Faraz, who stood straight despite his terror. "By humans." The Admiral's gaze fell on Faraz, and something shifted in those ancient eyes. A human protected you? Healed you? When I was helpless and broken, when I had nothing to offer, he saved me anyway, Bella said. That's what humans do. They don't calculate worth. They see suffering and they act. For 20 years, this planet has been my home. These people are my family. The Admiral was silent for a long moment. Then impossibly he bowed, to Feroz, a simple human from a forgotten village. Then we owe humanity a debt, the Admiral said. We came seeking our lost scout. We found something far more valuable. Evidence that kindness exists in the universe beyond our own kind. The fleet departed 3 days later, but not before offering humanity gifts of technology, knowledge, and an alliance that would change the course of history. The abandoned scout who'd been left for dead had become a bridge between worlds. But Bella stayed on Earth. She stayed in the small village with the man who'd found a crying girl in the forest and seen not an alien, but someone who needed help. Because that, she'd learned, was what it meant to be human, and she wouldn't trade it for all the stars in the sky.